In ancient Rome, fear was not weakness, it was betrayal. The Roman army was the backbone of an empire that stretched across continents. From the cold lands of Britain to the burning deserts of the East, Roman legions marched with discipline, precision, and terrifying unity. Every soldier swore a sacred oath, an oath of loyalty, an oath of obedience, an oath that bound his life to Rome itself. To break that oath was unthinkable. Roman soldiers trained harder than most men could endure. They marched for miles under heavy armor. They built forts from nothing but dirt and timber. They drilled endlessly until discipline replaced instinct. Because on the battlefield, hesitation could destroy everything. And in Rome, the greatest crime was cowardice. To run from battle was not simple fear. It was a threat to the entire legion. If one man fled, others might follow. If fear spread, formations would collapse. And if formations collapsed, Rome would fall. Rome did not tolerate such risk. When a unit showed weakness, a brutal punishment was unleashed. It was called decimation. The word alone carried terror. 1 out of every 10 soldiers would die. Not by the enemy, not by distant officials, but by their own brothers. The men were gathered. They stood in silence, under the cold stare of their commanders. Then, lots were drawn. Each soldier reached forward and pulled a marked stone. No one knew his fate. Rank did not matter. Experience did not matter. Luck decided everything. Imagine standing in that line, your hands trembling, your heartbeat louder than war drums, praying you are not the 10th man. And when the chosen were revealed, there were no speeches, no mercy, no appeals. The condemned were handed back to their own unit. Comrades became executioners. Friends who had shared food and shelter were forced to carry out the sentence. It was deliberate. It was unforgettable. Rome believed that fear, carved deep enough, would never fade. But the punishment did not end with death. The survivors were shamed, their rations reduced, their dignity stripped, their camp moved outside the walls. Shame became heavier than armor. And yet, desertion nearly vanished. The legions fought harder. They held their formations longer. They stood firm, even when hope was gone. They did not fight because they lacked fear. They fought because they feared Rome more than the enemy. Rome valued order above emotion, discipline above compassion, strength above mercy. A Roman soldier learned one truth: death in battle was honorable, but death by Rome's judgment was disgrace. So they stood their ground, through arrows, through chaos, through fire. Because if the enemy failed, Rome would not. And that ruthless discipline built an empire that lasted for centuries. Rome did not conquer the world with kindness. It conquered with unity, with structure. Fear sharpened into obedience. In ancient Rome, a soldier did not run twice. Not because he was fearless, but because he understood the cost. And that is how empires are built. Not on mercy, but on fear.